What does it mean to have our identity, our mat, our hankar to be filled with sin? In the last verse, when we were talking about asank, we heard asank papi paap kar jaye. There are countless sinners committing sin. So what is this sin? Who is the sinner? Are we the sinner? We can think that we're not perfect, but never can we call ourselves a sinner. And even the idea of being a sinner seems out of date. It's a bit of an obsolete idea, don't you think? It implies that there's some kind of divine ruler, some kind of Lord who's passed all of these rules, all of this judgment, made the rules about how to live, how not to live. If you follow those rules, you're not a sinner. If you break the rules, you're a sinner, right? And today, in today's day and age, it feels like we can accept that we can be a criminal. If you break the law of the land, you've committed a crime. You can accept that you're a criminal, but we can't accept that we're a sinner. Because we accept the law of the land. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji is talking about a different type of rule, not one that is dictated by governments and parliaments. Guru Nanak is talking about a divine rule. But what is this divine rule? What are the laws of the divine rule? Who is the lawmaker? Who's the judge? Who's the jury? And every religion has its own rules. And each religion's rules contradict with the rules of another religion. For one religion, we say it is a sin to cut your hair. And in another religion, shaving your head is the most virtuous thing you can do. In one religion, it says that you must not eat anything of this particular way. We talk about halal. We must not eat halal. In another religion, halal is the only thing worth eating. So which religion is Guru Nanak talking about? Which rules? How is it that one set of people can have one set of sins and another set of people can have another set of sins? That doesn't seem very universal. What is Guru Nanak Dev Ji referring to? And how does the spiritual seeker decide? How do they decide which religion's rules are the right ones, which religion's rules are made up? Fundamental questions. But actually this idea of paap isn't as simple as it seems. It isn't as black and white as you might think it is. There's a beautiful shabad by Guru Amar Das Ji. You can find it on Ang 126 in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. There Guruji describes a very different understanding of paap. It's a very long shabad, but I'll take just the main verses in the middle of the shabad that relate to what we're talking about. Guru Amar Das Ji, the third Guru, he says, Kaya andar homme mera. Within the body is my identity and my sense of ownership for things. I think I own these things. This is my family. This is my house. These are my things. This is my job. Mera. These belong to me. Jamman maran na chuke fera. Because of my own self-identity, I'm creating my own birth and death. I'm creating my own reincarnation. I am responsible for that because these things are inside me. Gurmukh hove so homme mare. By facing the Guru, by learning from the Guru, my self-identity is destroyed, and then I meditate on that which is permanent. Sacho sach Tyavanya. Guruji goes on, Kaya andar paap pun doe bhai. Within the body is sin and virtue. Paap means sin. Virtue here is the word pun, the opposite of sin, the good way of living. But Guruji doesn't say multiple here. There is paap, there is sin, and there is virtue within the body. Dohe milke srisht upay. Paap and pun are like two brothers. They got together and they created the universe. Just let that sink for a moment. How is this possible? Surely, before there was mankind, there was no sin. We like to think that, right? That mankind are the sinners, but actually all the stars and the planets and the birds and the animals, they're just following the natural order of the universe. They're just following hukum. We think all animals, all plants are immune to sin. Yeah, that's how we think. That we somehow have something special. And most people will say we have free will. And because we have free will, we commit sin, or we can choose to be virtuous. We can choose to be saintly people. What Guruji is saying is paap and pun, sin and virtue, aren't just choices that you have. They aren't just simple things that are within you that you can choose. Today I'm going to be a sinner. Tomorrow I'll choose not to be a sinner. Guruji says that paap and pun are built into the very fabric of the universe. Now let's remember what we've covered in the last verse. In the Asankha verses, just before this verse, Guruji talked about the spectrum of the universe, that the universe is a spectrum of all possibilities. All things good that can happen, the universe is able to do, and all things bad that can happen, the universe is able to do that. Now, this is what Guruji means by two brothers who are the creators of the universe. The universe relies on this spectrum. The universe relies on opposites. Think about everything in the universe seems to have a left and a right, an inside and outside. Day and night, hot, cold. Everything seems to be in one end or the other. Even the very way that we breathe, the very way that we live requires in and out. An in-breath and an out-breath. So this spectrum is built into the fabric of the universe. And part of the fabric of the universe is all things that we would call good and all things that we would call bad. That's just how the universe is. The universe relies on this spectrum. Seeing them as two different things is paap. Seeing everything as good, as different from everything that is bad, that is our paap. That is the only sin. The duality of how we see the universe is the sin. Because Guruji is saying that there aren't two. They meet together. Paap and pun are two brothers. We can almost say that they're twins. They're two brothers joined at the hip. When you have one, you have the other. We don't understand that sin and virtue are just two sides of the same coin. We see them as completely opposite. Guruji says that they are twins, they are brothers. They're stuck together. But essentially, they are one body with two faces. So what is Guruji's solution? Because Guru is presenting something very complex here. Dove maar jaye, ikat ghar aave, Gurmat Sahaj Samavaniya. When the duality is killed, when the two are killed and oneness enters your home, when you no longer see them as two different things, this goes right back to Ik Onkar. Onkar is not the producer of all things good. Onkar is the creator of everything. Everything that we would call good and everything that we call bad, the universe doesn't see good and bad. It's just part of the same thing. Guruji says that the solution to this problem is to kill the two and bring one back into your home. When you no longer see the difference between paap and pun, when you don't see sin as different from virtue, when you don't see them as two different things, when you recognize that they are ik, they are part of the oneness, and you bring the oneness back into your home, then you will enter into peace. You have to kill both the brothers. You have to kill both of them. You have to kill the sin and the virtue. Know that if you strive for just one, that you never run away from the other. If you say, I'm going to run away from sin and I'm just going to be the best person I can be, I'm always going to be the saintly person. I want to identify with the saintly behavior. Remember, these are two twins that are joined at the hip. You're not running away from one. If you run towards the other, his brother is right behind him. It's just the other side. If you only want to be the saint, you're never going to run away from the sinner. They come as a package. They're indispensable. They're inseparable. Within each and every one of us is the capacity to be the saint, but within each and every one of us is the capacity to be the sinner as well. Within each and every one of us is a murderer, an exploiter, a cheat. Remember in the previous verse where Guru Nanak Dev Ji was talking about these people, Asank Murak, Chor, Haramkhor, the ones who decapitate heads, the ones who rule others by force. How does Guru Nanak Dev Ji end that sentence? Nanak neech kahe vichar. He says, I cannot judge any of them. I am the lowest of everything. Why can't he judge them? Because he recognized that they were part of the oneness. How can you judge the oneness? You can't. If you see them as individuals, you can judge them. And by judging them, you say, you are a criminal, I am not. The duality comes back in. And this is one thing that we must learn whenever looking at any part of Gurbani. Ultimately, the whole of Guru Granth Sahib Ji is an expression of Ik Onkar. The whole of Guru Granth Sahib Ji is a description of oneness. Every line, every word, we have to understand as a further explanation of oneness. There is only one thing.